Stage 2 of the pick'ems, and guys, okay, we made it through. It was a little sketchy, stage 1, but we made it through. And I want to say, okay, some of these picks that didn't work out were pretty close as well, right? So we got our Heroic, Bet Boom, Tyloo, Legacy, and Fluxo. But NRG went 2 and 3, Wildcard went 2 and 3, Bate went 3 and 0. That's the only reason we don't get a point here. Chinggis also basically could have gone 0-3 if they didn't lose against bloody Fluxo. And then Complexity, I kind of left up here because I didn't know what to expect from them. Well, they didn't even make it through. Stage 2, okay, let's get into it because, guys, these opening matchups are cooked. They are cooked. I'm going to do the thing that everyone else is going to do. I'm going to put Falcons 3 and 0, but I am going to tell you right now that I am terrified for that opening BO1 against Bate. I'm really scared. This is the one matchup I did not want to have happen because I actually think Bate have got a pretty good chance of winning. Like, out of all the teams here, Bate just play pretty aggressive. They have all these cheeky tricks and they have crazy individual firepower and they're coming off of stage 1, right? If Falcons just have a slow start in a BO1, they could actually lose that. And if you're really feeling yourself, you could take Falcons out of 3-0. If you're really feeling yourself, but they should be by far the best team here. They've been playing really well recently, even with Nico not being in great form. Honesty is still incredible. TSS has been good on this team. Like, there's too much to like about this team not to put them 3-0. Okay, now the next 3-0 pick. FaZe, in theory, should be the next best team here. But they have Heroic as their opening matchup. And Heroic are another team I would have considered to go 3-0. I really would have. But with these two playing each other, I can't do it. Right? And honestly, I don't think I'd have gone with FaZe anyway, because this screams of a team when you've got a stand-in who are just going to lose a BO1 somewhere. So instead, I think I've got to put FaZe and Heroic just in the advanced section. I think they are too good to get through this stage, both of them. FaZe especially, like, they should just have the individual quality, man. Simple looked good enough for me to believe. I think that Frozen has been good on this team, and then Elysian Reign, like, even if the role stuff has been weird, it's got to be good enough to make it through this stage, right? You just need some level of decent cohesion to get through, right? And Heroic, I'm telling you, put Heroic here in the 3-1, 3-2 section because the floor of this team is so high. They're just so reliable as a team. Their team play is always good. They have pretty good upper-level firepower with a Tanir and a Sunpius. Like, there's a lot to like about this Heroic team. They always have a cheeky trick up their sleeve, man. LNZ, Linus, as a caller, he's really good. Like, I back this guy big time, okay? And sometimes when he's anchoring sites, it can look a little dicey. He can maybe die a bit quick. But overall, their team play and timings are just so good. Really, really good. Honestly, one of the best here at this stage. So I believe in Heroic. So you might ask, who am I putting 3-0? And I think you've just got to go with a bit of a gamble team. Because I don't think any of these guys are massive favorites to go 3-0. But you've got to go with someone that can catch fire, right? And that we don't really care if we don't have them in the advanced section. And so for me, that's 3D Max, okay? 3D Max have not been in the best form lately, but they are a team who play quite aggressive. They've got a good bit of skill on this roster, and they just always know the way they want to play, even if it hasn't been working lately. And that's why I don't mind if I miss this point, because I don't know if I'd want to put them through in the advanced section anyway, right? So I like this as a little risky pick. They've got Bet Boom in their opening matchup. I think that's winnable. And honestly, some of the draws I saw them having in the 1-0, if they get there, actually weren't that bad, right? They could play like a Namiga or someone. I think that puts them in with a good chance of at least getting up here. And then from there, maybe they hit form and maybe they just actually win a BO3, right? That's what you're relying on. But honestly, I think it's too likely that one of FaZe or Heroic is going to lose somewhere. And when they play each other in the opening match, and I think they're both really good, how can I put either of these guys as 3-0? Because I could lose my 3-0 instantly, right? Okay, 0-3 teams. I think the obvious one is Legacy. I think the fundamentals of this team are okay, but I just don't think the firepower is that good for this stage. I really don't. And so I think there's a few teams you can go between. Like, I'd say Lin Vision, also consider. M80 have been in very weird form lately. I think you could consider them. I don't think I'd put Tyloo. They've just got too much skill. I don't think I'd put Namiga. I think they've got too much skill as well. And maybe Pain. Like, they've been a bit of a mess lately, but they've had stand-ins at recent tournaments, and you don't think they should be that bad. I also honestly think VP you could consider. These guys have looked terrible recently. They are playing this super slow playstyle. It always just looks limp and just like you're not getting the most out of all the names on this team. But realistically, they should have enough players to win a game somewhere. So for me, Legacy, I think they're probably just the weakest team here all round. Like, their team play is okay at times, but it's not outstanding. They have nothing that really stands out about them. Not even the firepower, which could win you a BO1. In terms of the second team, I'm putting 0-3. I think it's Lin Vision. And I know everyone's going to sit here and say, never put an Asian team 0-3, right? And technically, Chinggis Warriors did win, okay, in the previous stage. They didn't go 0-3. But I only think that's because they went up against Fluxo, who themselves were terrible. And, like, Lin Vision, they played a couple close games against Chinggis Warriors. I don't think they have the crazy firepower of a Tai Lu. I don't think they do. And if they don't have that, then I don't think the fundamentals are that good. I think the other team you could maybe consider is, like, M80. Just because, like, their firepower is also weak. Actually, the more I think about this, Lin Vision have at least warmed up. I'm switching it. I'm going M80. I actually am. Am I? No, I'm sticking Lin Vision. Okay, the thing that M80 have is they have Sin, who is a good in-game leader, and they have players that, in theory, I think should be better than they have been lately. So I am going Lin Vision here, just because we haven't seen M80, and I think maybe they could do a little something. So who else are we putting in advance? That's the big question. Next team I've got is Bate. These guys could honestly 3-0 again. They're just so skilled. They've just got all these little off setups. They're always going to throw different setups at you each round. They're really proactive. They play together well. I don't think that their play style is that, like, consistent necessarily, right? I think that it's something where it's working right now, and that's great. But I do think that they went 3-0 in the previous stage. And once they start to face adversity, if they don't all play with this level of confidence and togetherness, if they just start to hesitate slightly, that's when their style of play could go very wrong. And that could happen at some point. But at this stage, I look at some of these other teams, I think they just outfrag a lot of these teams here. And they have enough of the fundamentals in terms of just spacing and having all these different setups that are hard to predict that I think can get them through. Right? They're a somewhat gambly team, but it oftentimes works for them. So I'm having them through. All right, up next. This is where it gets a little hard. I'm not putting VP. I have no faith in this team. I just don't think they even have the firepower at the top end. Don't think I'm putting Pain. They've just been a bit all over the place lately, and I think if you're going for a South American team, MIBR have shown more. Even then, MIBR haven't been great themselves. Furia, definitely a consideration. OG, I think, are a consideration. Bet Boom, Namiga, and I don't think Tyler are really in there for me, to be honest. I don't think they've quite got enough. I think next, I've been impressed by OG, man. I really have. I think they kind of remind me of just like a slightly worse version of Heroic, right? And I didn't have them going through the previous stage. So they have really turned me around. I still think the firepower isn't as good as I would want it to be. That was my main concern previously. I thought the team play, the fundamentals were all good. I just didn't see the firepower being there. And honestly, I don't think Nico Dolls should be able to play that well again, right? He was insane in the first stage, but he has been very good. And I think I underestimated some of the other players. Fiku and Buzz, I thought they'd be just like, okay, they'd just be fine. They've actually been pretty good. They've been above average at their roles. And then Spooky, I think he doesn't get the big numbers, but he's really impressed me as a pretty aggressive player on this team. And then you also have Krisen as an in-game leader who's just a solid firepower piece for this team. So I believe in OG. I think they've got enough as a team. Next, I do think you go Furia. I think they're good enough. They're in a weird spot because they've made their roster moves recently enough where I don't really know what the identity of the team is fully, if I'm going to be honest with you. Right? They brought Melodoy in. He was playing super aggressive, and that was working. And they've had some time off, and now we're going to see exactly what they look like after they've put some time in. I don't know how that will go. I hope that Melodoy is still allowed to play with freedom. I think Yakindar has come in and been decent, which has been nice to see. Keserato, not quite hitting the heights he has in the past, but Yuri has been decent lately. I think they've just got enough all round. And I think as long as they haven't overthought things, they should be okay. Like, just based on just simple utility plays, Fallen's always got good flashes. I think they should be okay. Right? Just the player talents on this team, I think, should beat a lot of these other teams who I know have looked like kind of a bit of a mess at times. And then finally, I am going Bet Boom. I think it's between them and Namiga for me. But I am going Bet Boom. This is a tough one, man. This is a tough one because I think this last slot is hard to pick. I wouldn't hate an MIBR pick, but lately they haven't been at their best, right? And Insani has not quite been the same as he used to be, and it just feels like the roles are a little confused and they're trying to play a little too smart for their own good at times, whereas I think they have the skill to just play a little more simple and just aggressive, but they're just not doing that, right? The other team I would really strongly consider is Namiga, just because the firepower on this team is strong. They play pretty aggressive at times in a good way, and they have players like Zwei, who's just really, really good and solid fundamentally. And they just seem to play really well in that earlier stage and just, like, got hyped a lot of the time, which I liked seeing, right? But I think Bet Boom have a little more. And this is really just coming down to Boomich and kind of the structure of the team. They've just got a couple of smart players on this squad. The scary thing is, Axel has been pretty awful. And that is a shame, because that's the biggest drawback of this team. Zorte's okay, but really you've got Siren, who's playing super smart. Boomich is playing well on this team, which is nice to see. I think this last pick is the toughest one, but I just think in terms of tactical counter-striking and sort of working your way into good positions, I've seen Boomich do that very well. So this is my pick'em. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I think there's a lot of teams here that are good to go through. And then Legacy 03 I'm hoping for. So I have got faith. Let's get that diamond, baby. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.